So I'm back to do another video. There's this guy called Mr.exposed. He's a podcaster. So like last year on Twitter, his old colorist tweets got exposed on the timeline, and you know how Twitter goes. When you get exposed, that's it. Like, that is fucking it. Like, just give up. Give up, honestly. Give up. Because nope. And now, the funny thing is whenever he gives an apology, he's like going around doing this frigging apology tour thing, you know, like man's name is Jason Derulo. Yeah, going on an apology tour for absolutely no reason. Like, did anybody tell you to go and do that apology tour? Did they? Did they say, oh yes, like that would be a good idea for you to go do this apology tour, even though your name is Mr. I don't have accountability for anything? But okay then. So he's doing this little apology tour, like I am sorry, I'm a jackass tour. And basically, instead of apologizing for his colorist tweets, he's there saying that it was an experiment, a social experiment. Basically, what he is saying is, I have no accountability for my actions, so I'm going to lie and say that it was a social experiment and that people do not understand what I was trying to do. Like, sir, save the oxygen in your lungs, because it's clearly not going to your brain. That is it. It's not going to your brain. So, like, stop it. Shh. Because I don't understand how you can sit there, yeah, and lie and say that it was a social experiment when I'm not going to include none of the tweets in this video because they're horrible, but basically they're along the lines of you can beat up dark-skinned women because there will be no bruises, and light-skinned women should be left alone. And the other one was something about you can rape dark-skinned women. Like, the level of vitriol that he had towards dark-skinned women don't make no sense to me. It does not make no sense to me whatsoever. The level of hate he has for dark-skinned women. And some people were saying, like, defending him, saying, like, why is it okay for him to keep getting judged and all this stuff when his tweets were old, and these tweets are old and were just a joke. First of all, rape, domestic violence, those are not jokes, okay? Let's keep it real. Those are not fucking jokes. They're not jokes. So the only thing is a joke is that Mr.exposed, okay? The man who lives in Toxic City on Misogyny Lane, that's him. Straight there. You understand? Rape, domestic violence, colorism, those are not jokes. And why is it always that women, dark-skinned black women, are supposed to just automatically forgive? Like, oh yes, it was just a growing pain, but why is it always that black women have to be dealing with the brunt of their growing pains? Yeah, any man or woman who decides to go up again, who decides to be colorist, decides to be whatever, yeah, always doing it at the expense of black women. And we're just supposed to be like, oh la-di-da, it don't matter. Like, no, sir. It's just mind-boggling to me how this man can just sit up there and just straight lie talking about social experiments. What social experiment are you talking about? Keep saying that people don't understand the context. What is this context business? Like, context. What context was there when you was talking so appallingly about dark-skinned black women? You're a dark-skinned black man. It don't make no sense. However, what I will say is that as a dark-skinned black man, he will be subjected to more judgment and less forgiveness, because I'm not gonna sit here and lie and act like dark-skinned black men who do make colorist jokes are get forgiven quickly, because they don't. It's It's as simple as that. But at the same time, if you're showing no accountability for your actions, then people are even less likely to forgive you. Like, sitting there acting like you don't have a bit of sense that God gave you, and continuing to be colorist, and continuing to say this context nonsense, and that it was a social experiment. And you wonder why you keep having to go on this apology tour. Like, man's gone from city to city, Birmingham, London, Manchester, Liverpool, whatever. You understand? Doing the same old nonsense. Talking about it was a social experiment. Bruh, social experiment usually, has a hypothesis, usually has an ending. So you do not end nothing but people's nerves. It's just, we are tired, like black women are freaking tired of bearing the brunt of the abuse that, like I said, black men, other people want to throw at us, other black women. Even some black women can be colorist as hell. Like, someone brought up Maya Jama. If you haven't heard about Maya Jama's colorist tweets, I done a YouTube video on her 2 years ago. So, I'm going to include it down below if you've not watched it already. And I'm just like, she's been blocked ever since. Like, she's been blocked for 2 years now. Me not pay no attention, to be quite honest. Like, and people keep saying, why did she get forgiven? Well, I mean, a lot of us didn't forgive her, but at the same time, she eventually showed accountability for her actions. The first time she did a note saying that she apologizes to all women, and then when she got some more backlash, she then said, I apologize to dark-skinned black women, which she should have done in the first place, because that is who you offended in the first fucking place. So yeah, but she eventually showed accountability. Me still not like her, me still think she colorist, but whatever. I mean, I worried about she. Simple. But at least she did this, not go on some fucking apology tour like Mr.exposed. Like, what are you doing? You show absolutely zero accountability. You refuse to apologize. You refuse to apologize sincerely, and then you wonder why people are not wanting to fuck with you. Like, for God's sake, and an absolute nerve of you to, you did this BBC documentary back, when was it, 2016, about mental health and you and all this kind of stuff. Like, but what about the mental health? What about the mental health of the black women you was attacking? What about their mental health? Or does it not matter to you because you wasn't on their side? You wasn't the one who was dealing with the backlash of the colorism. And you, as a dark-skinned black man, should have known about colorism, because let's keep it 100. Me keep it 100 on this channel. We know that dark-skinned black men are subject to colorism in terms of, hypermasculinity. They're seen as more attractive than lighter-skinned black men. They're seen as more hypermasculine. They're seen as more aggressive. These whole, when you watch those old slavery movies called Mandingo, it was always a dark-skinned black man they would portray, because they was trying to show, he was over-sexualized, and that is what happens to dark-skinned black men, and that comes across with, racism, colorism. So he should know better than to be colorist against black women. But then again, ignorance is taught. So it's just really irritating to me to see that someone can be that foolish and they don't seem to have no type of common sense whatsoever. Instead of apologizing, you want to be saying, like, nobody understands me. Like, they don't want to understand you. They don't want to understand you because you're not making shit clear. You understand? You're not making shit clear. You're just chatting air. Yeah, okay. And I told you previously in this video, like, preserve the oxygen in your lungs. Preserve it. Yeah, breathe it all in and then let it go. Yeah, and hopefully whatever's left travels to your fucking brain, because you clearly need it. Because there is no place you need to be colorist. No place you need to be colorist. I don't understand anyone being colorist. Black women, black men, whatever. Okay, even colorism exists in Asian societies. Like, there is absolutely no reason for it. Whenever there is a hierarchy of light skin are on top and darker skin people are apparently on the bottom, that is where colorism comes into play. And we can't keep using the excuse of the white man, because yeah, this has all come from colonization and white privilege and, you know, slavery. But at the same time, like, it's 2020. Like, you can do the frigging work yourself. Nobody needs to be telling you these things. So stop it. But I am going to round this video up here because I do not want to be rambling on too long. But those are my thoughts on this situation. Like, there's no place in the world you need to be colorist. No, absolutely no place. So stop it. All right, bye.